Late night special. What's going on, y'all, on this beautiful Tuesday with the live stream? Honestly, y'all, I'm glad I did it today because nothing was going on yesterday, but there's some things going on, so I want to speak on them. And we're getting closer and closer, itching to a new season. A new month is March. We're coming back mid-April for season 10. Crazy, right? And what is happening? And I got another project I want to work on. It's two projects I want to do, but one of them is more so just preparation for season 10. But the other one is another like like a long term, a long lasting project. But I need to pray more on it because I need to maybe go on a fast about it because it's like I think about it, then I don't think about it for days, and I think about it again. It's like, is it like warfare to stop me from doing this, or is it like this is not what I need you to do right now? You get what I'm saying? So how about this? And I'm saying this quickly. I'll make a decision on what to do with the next steps based on the decision I get from something else. And I'm gonna just say that's what we're gonna do. All right, y'all. So we're getting into it today. It's just me again solo. And I want to watch a video. I said a viral TikTok. We're gonna just leave it to just viral video right now while the podcast is off, instead of just saying viral TikTok. But it's a video going around. It's actually what's the word I'm looking for? It's actually a conversation that's been going around for a while now about your friends watching everything you do and not supporting you. And a content creator, my homeboy of mine, um, Kyra Closet on everything, he did his take on it. So shout out to him. I haven't talked to him in a minute. I'm gonna tell him I did this, but we're gonna watch this clip and then we're gonna talk about it. So let me share my screen and let's get going.
To school and I got a good job just based off of my degree, you can justify why I'm doing good for myself. But if I've been an entertainer or an athlete, you can't justify why I'm doing good for myself, so you don't support it. Let's go deeper on that topic. I have been doing content for 4.5 years now, and there's been multiple occasions to where I have to ask people why they don't support my content, and they don't have a good answer for it. When you're actively doing something in 2026, it's hard for people not to notice it, so it's really no good excuse. This is nothing brand new, but you get more support from strangers, but nobody ever gave me a good reason why it's like that. And when you're putting in so much hard work into perfecting your craft, it seems like the higher you get up, the more friends you lose because they're not giving the same support as when you first started. And instead of finding reasons why your friends don't support you, let's help them support you even more. And what I mean by that is every time you post, make sure you repost it on your story. And if they see it, shoot them a text message and tell them you posted. It's sad that we have to tell our friends to support us, but it's just how we got to do stuff in today's age. I went to one of my homeboys' page and he was following 3,000 people. He don't even know that many people. There's no reason why you're following 3,000 people. I only follow 500 people so I can make sure I see everybody post that I want to see. Then you're going to get some people that say Instagram be showing me random people posts. I don't even follow them. Social media is built off of an algorithm, so it's only going to participate in what you like. That maybe means that you don't like your friends, but we're not going to get into that. Anything in life is about ratios. Your input has to match your output. If you're getting a lot of views, but you're not getting a lot of likes, that means people are not supporting you, but they're watching your stuff daily. I had to get this video off my chest because it was just eating at me so much, and I know other people are going through the same thing. It's crazy that we got to ask the own people that we know for support on a daily basis. But as always, no more needs to be said.
Okay, so let's get into that real quick. So when we get into friends, what didn't happen? We all live. Okay, we back. Okay, so when we get into that conversation, right, about friends not supporting you, and we feel like, oh, my friend should have supported me. We're gonna get both sides of the ball because we have to do that's what we do on PSA. So we have to get both sides. So on the side of this is your friend, we're gonna go from the obvious standpoint. Like me personally, do I feel a way? Yeah, I do feel a way when some people don't repost or engage with my content. sometimes I did say this, I definitely feel away sometimes, then it's like they ain't my target audience. And it's like I've kind of grown out of the logic of trying to get my friends to support what I'm doing. And don't get to it, sometimes if you send it to them, they will repost and like it and stuff if you say something. But a lot of times they don't do it, and unless they agree with it, and sometimes they even then they really don't, they just kind of see it and go about their business. I think you still just like it, but in the same breath, it's like you could say, is that really your friend? I feel like you have to determine, because this is how I'm gonna get you. You have to determine whether or not that was already your friend. Because if you're not gonna tell me somebody is an amazing friend to you, but they don't support you on social media, you're gonna cut them off. You might look at it sideways, but this is where it will get you. A lot of times we be looking for final straws with people. And so you might be feeling neglected in other areas of it. And then that was the final point. Like, dang, they don't support me on social media. And it looked like you tripping off that whole time. You mad about 20 other things that they do, or that they don't support you in this. Again, going back to when you realize your homeboy not your homeboy. I think about a homeboy that I had who he would he kind of supported my stuff. He supported when I did the belligerent teas. We ain't gonna go through that, but he didn't. The podcast, he really didn't, and I think a lot of times he didn't feel that I was qualified for the job. And I've said this many times on I guess I don't think even before, but people feel like you're not a licensed professional, but we counteract that because again, I make it very clear I'm not from a perspective of somebody who lives some of these things and just having open debates. And then what gets me is we put in my bio, this is not a replacement for therapy and any of that. And also, too, we get licensed professionals on the show, and they never have an issue with me doing it because my approach is not like I'm trying to diagnose you, anything like that. I'm really just having conversations on camera, and I think anybody can do that. So, I don't diagnose people. I don't give people updates on what they got or what I think they got or claim mental illnesses or anything that I don't have. When I did have them, it was diagnosed by a licensed professional, so it wasn't nothing made up. But I say all that to say sometimes people just don't see you as that, and you can feel away. But what's gonna irritate you though is when you blow up, and now all of a sudden, now that's what you need to pay attention to. Pay attention to when you blow up, and now all of a sudden everybody want to repost. Well, where was this at when I was nobody? Now everybody know me. Now you want to post. I just say keep that same energy. That I will say. Don't start reposting and liking stuff. Then when you see, I'm gonna say the name. They can't say that name right now. But when you see, um, I almost said Jay Leno. What? But when you see some big celebrity, when you see Meek Mill reposting my stuff, don't repost it. When you see your favorite baddie reposting my stuff, now all of a sudden you want to like it. When you see your favorite little baby repost my stuff, you seeing it in reposting, all of a sudden you want to like it. Say, oh, I know him. But then on the other side of the ball too, it's like, like I said, they may not be your target audience, and that's okay. People support what they believe in. Some people, that's just not their thing. I had a friend tell me that years ago. She was just like, like if they're not into, like, this is the analogy she gave. It's a little graphic. She said, if I was selling sex toys, I wouldn't expect you to repost and support my business because that's not your thing. I was like, right. I said, now, but what if, but then there's a difference between supporting it publicly and then as far as not supporting it publicly, what's what engaging with your content publicly and then supporting you. Because some people might not engage with your content publicly, but they may, if you have a party for it or an event for it to celebrate it, they may come. You know what I mean? But then somebody might say, well, so you support me privately and not publicly. And it really is a slippery slope. And you just have to really analyze and discern that type of person, because people always telling themselves, you just got to pay attention. People always telling themselves, you just got to pay attention. And it's usually right in your face. So keep that in mind with the whole people that don't support your situation. I definitely think it's a red flag and definitely something you should keep your eye on, but definitely to an extent, it's something you shouldn't make a big old thing. And sometimes people don't even realize it. You don't know what people on here doing, you know. And like I did see with my boy post, he said, but like everything on the shade room. That's a little weird though. Like, so you like all this, but then you be seeing me doing this. Or what get you, and this is where you can't feel away. When somebody else is doing it and they support it, but when it's you, they don't. That's when you should feel away. Now that you should feel away, like, but I digress. Let's go ahead and get off that. Let me know what y'all think on that as well. Okay, let's get into the first half of the day. And this one I thought was interesting. So Matthew Knowles was in the interview. He was asked about Tina Knowles, and he didn't engage at all. So let's watch this clip real quick. I'm interested to see what y'all take on it is, because I thought it was interesting. So let me share my screen. And I have a message with this too, low key. Let me know what y'all think. Let's do it.
You guys put in the work, and obviously the talent was there with your kids and your grandkids.
What work did she put in?
In the hair.
Okay,
clothing,
you're absolutely right. And the styling.
The styling.
The imaging, you're right.
She claimed to have preyed on the name, and different aspects of that.
Sure. Sure.
So, yeah. It's a joint effort.
We'll stop now.
Sorry, did I say something wrong?
No. We're good.
All right.
We're good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, look like some people kind of split on that. But let's get into the first, which is what does this have to do with mental health, which is the study of how we act, think, and feel. So now we don't know if Matthew Knowles said don't bring her up and he did it anyway. Sometimes some interviewers will do slick stuff like that, where they'll bring it up after you told them not to. We don't know that. So we're gonna say he didn't tell, Matthew Knowles didn't tell him that, because if he stood up afterwards, we understand, and that could have been the case. And he ended, I think, very professionally. He was just like, the work your ex-wife put in. And he was like, well, what did she put in? And he was like, because Matthew Knowles takes full ownership of everything that in that group for the most part, right? But when it comes to why he ended it, like I said, if he ended it because he told them not to bring it up and they did anyway, then that's perfectly fine. But if he didn't, maybe he felt as though, that they were taking, and if it was from a petty point of view, we don't know. Then he felt like, dang, you trying to basically play me, like this group was what they was because of me. He said, I ain't say she ain't help, but he was just like, he had to ask, what exactly did she do? He was like, he know the stuff that she did do, because she did something, but he was just like, I did this. She was just, I think that goes to show you that could it be a little bit of pride, a little bit, but it just goes to show you that some people, this is another thing. That's his ex-wife. That's the main thing. That's somebody he probably, let's keep it on, he might not like that. We ain't together. I don't really want to talk about her. This is about me. Why is you bringing up my ex-wife, who had, I don't know if she's still with the new guy, but I know she had a new husband. Why are you bringing this up? Like, why are you bringing her up? And maybe he wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I don't know, but it's hard to do that when he's bringing up people's exes, because it's just not the best thing to do. But I think Matthew handled it respectfully. He said, we're just gonna end it right there. He didn't start screaming, hollering, yelling. WWID, what would I do in this situation? Well, don't bring up nobody you don't see me with. That's one. But no, but seriously, I'm telling the truth, but seriously. But no, I think that in that situation, would I have ended it abruptly? Probably not. Even if they did, if I did tell them not to do it anyway, only because even though he did it professionally, I still want to keep, and if things happen, so I'm not judging from a negative aspect, but I want to keep my composure for the most part, like, play it off. Because what you don't want to do, even though you don't want to look pressed. So, even if he ain't pressed, unfortunately, he looked pressed. Versus he could have just, probably have said something. We always say what somebody should have did in the moment, unless it's us. But, I'm trying to think, if I was asked about something I didn't want to talk about, you just have, for me, my mind says I have to be ready for whatever. And I would just have, answered it, and I would have, kept it respectful, just because, and this maybe sound petty, you rather, if you have a tiff or whatever issue with somebody, you make them look crazy. Don't make yourself look crazy, because now make it look like you should make them look crazy. You say positive things or keep it very short and blunt and to the point, versus trying to make them look away. WWJD, what would Jesus do? So Jesus didn't run from hard conversations. If he was in a situation, obviously he would have answered, but ethically and morally correct thing to do, I think the ethically and morally correct thing to do would have been to just answer respectfully, engage in a conversation, maybe could have, pivot off that one and maybe start talking about something else and there's so many ways he could have went about that, and not saying, again, he way more interviews than me, so he know what to do more than I do, but I'm just saying ethically and morally. And sometimes people don't care about ethically and morally. They just gonna do what they want to do. And then what should men do in this situation? Honestly, I say don't look pressed. Fight, do anything. And again, I don't want people to think, oh, you care what people think about you. It ain't even that. It's just you don't want to look pressed. Especially when you don't have to. All right. Okay. Let's move to the final conversation today. So we know T.I. and 50 Cent been going back and forth. T.I.'s sons, Damani and I think King, made diss tracks at 50 Cent. T.I. was on the podcast. He responded to this. So we're going to watch this video. We're going to talk about it. Let me share my screen because TIP coming live from the VIP had a lot to say. And as always, y'all, this is live.
That's right.
Both of your
I was asked.
Right, but both of your responses
soliciting.
Yeah, but your responses led to 50 having something to setting it off.
I'm real big on treating other people the way I want to be treated. And I'm also real big on treating them the way they decide they gonna treat me. And ultimately, all of the quietness that we're witnessing right now from dude, what would have happened if that quietness was practiced at the beginning? Absolutely nothing. We wouldn't be here.
Nothing to talk about. Are you enjoying seeing your sons step up to the moment and the whole family concept?
No, that? I don't. I don't enjoy it. I do not. Simply because I've spent so much time trying to get this little nigga off the ledge.
Talking about King?
Yes. And now he has justifiable means to undo all of the teachings that I've been teaching.
Got it.
I do not like this. No, I do not enjoy it.
Now, Damani kept his cool.
So the one thing that I am proud of out of all of this is that the women and children in our family see that it's a line of men.
I see.
That's here.
Right.
Against who the ever. You know what I mean? And we not here to defeat. Like, I don't give a damn about beating. I ain't here to defeat. I'm here to defend. You understand? I'm here to protect what's ours, what we built. Man, this is, man, I die in the street about this shit, man. This dead ass serious to me. This ain't no motherfucking game. I'm not playing.
All right, T.I. answered in T.I. fashion with the vocabulary justifiable means and quietness. T.I. gotta love him. All right, let's get into the first segment for today, or the last first segment, which is, what does this have to do with mental health? So when it comes to mental health and the study of how we act, think, and feel, T.I. respectfully say he don't like that his sons have responded to 50. But in the same breath, them your kids, you're going to fight for your family, and that's just what it is. He don't like it, but he just like it is what it is. Because T.I. even said, I was asked the question and responded, and now you coming at me. It's kind of going back to the whole Matthew Knowles thing. Sometimes you have to make people look crazy by themselves. And I'm going to I like 50 Cent. I do. And he's King Petty. But you have to make people look crazy by themselves. Like when you play the truly unbothered game, like the Omarion, you will make somebody, and even if they say some of the craziest, most deranged, evil things about you to you, whatever, if you make them look crazy, you won, because eventually they're gonna stop, and also people gonna be on your side. Because even if you did whatever they said you did or whatever, you're being quiet about it, and they're making them look like a fool. So now it's like, instead of two fools going back and forth, there's one fool, and even if I'm a fool, you can't prove it. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying, I'm like, you got it. You crashing out by yourself. I'm telling you, people lose when you let them crash out by themselves. I promise. But from a mental health standpoint, I get T.I.'s stance where it's like, People gonna be themselves. People gonna do what they do. Lines drawn in the sand. It is what it is. Could this be a moment for them to try to make some money off of it, or could this be a diss track, or not diss track, or like an album coming, or verses coming? Could it be that this is what this loading up to be? I don't know. What would I do in this situation? I kind of said it. You know, there are respectful. I'm gonna get into that. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but honestly, I'm gonna pray on it, because there are times when you do need to respond. Because a lot of times we think as believers and just as people, it's best to just never say nothing. Sometimes you need to say something, but how you go about it is the way. There's a way you go about it. So the logic of we just don't say nothing ever is not always real. My first instinct, honestly, in a situation like this, will be not to respond, but you know, it just depends. And that's why it goes to the next segment, which is WWJD. What would Jesus do? And Jesus will respond. Not always, but I'm saying he was a responder. I've said this before. He did respond sometimes. And it's just more about, okay, how should I respond to this? Should I respond with nothing? Should I respond with content? Should I respond with a private message? Should I respond publicly? Those are the questions you have to ask for your specific situation. God, you know, how should I handle this? Because you're gonna respond regardless, right? Well, not respond regardless. You're gonna react regardless. Reaction might not say, I'm not giving you a reaction. Reaction might say, hey, let me send you a personal message. The other one may be saying, hey, can we have a meeting about this privately? Hey, I'm gonna call you, or hey, let me respond to you publicly. You know, should I respond with creating the content? So many ways to go about it. And what should men do in this situation? I always know that, you know, you sometimes not doing nothing is still doing something, but you have to, it really just depends. I don't want to ramble because I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting sleepy. But yeah, what should men do in this situation? Honestly, simply pray to God on it, depending on the situation. If I was in a situation where somebody was clapping back at me over a response that I was giving to me, I wouldn't beg them, but I might make it clear, like, hey, I responded to what they asked me. What did you think? You know, but you got to see why people picking. What's going on behind the scenes? Or why they picking at me? What makes them pick at me now? Those are things to think about. All right, y'all. Thank y'all again for another week. Live streams are back. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm about to go finish the work and go to bed. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little tired. So, PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And always remember, please remember, I love us for real.